Hey y'all, it's Taylor from Goodbye Wine to Five, social worker who is working towards getting myself and my husband working on getting ourselves out of debt to become financially independent, and I want to share our tips and tricks and story with you all. I'm here with my buddy Serling here. I seem to make time for these videos when I'm pet sitting. Really interesting. Not really sure of the correlation there, but anyways, I want to talk today about how we paid off $17,000 worth of debt last year. Mind-blowing! We really set our sights high for this goal and super proud of us for, coming close. And I say coming close because we wanted to pay off all of our consumer debt. Consumer debt is, I'll put a little description right above me somewhere. Anyways, we got close. We were a couple $100s short. We ended up, the amount of our consumer debt, we actually ended up paying more debt than that. We ended up paying off more debt than that, but it was because of interest and some student loan payments that we weren't expecting to have to pay. So all in all, we paid off a ton of debt last year and we're super proud of ourselves. It feels like a really, really great milestone and accomplishment because last year, we really started looking deep within ourselves and learning about finance and making sacrifices and finding, different budgeting methods that work for us. We have found one that does work for us, and I do want to talk a little bit about that today as well. So I want to talk a little bit about our debt journey, talk about, our goals for the year, and then I want to briefly go into some of the budgeting sheets I've made last year and how they help. So stay tuned. So we paid off $17,000 worth of debt. Oh my gosh, how do we do that? I will put a blog post below about specifics on the numbers, how we did it, all that good stuff, but I'll kind of briefly, go through what really helped us. One thing was I have been dog sitting and I have another side hustle. I'm a social media manager, so that helped on top of me being a social worker because, social workers don't get paid enough. Anyways, conversation for another day. So I have two side hustles. Brett is in school and he went to Alaska last summer. I know he used to go to Alaska a lot, but he hasn't in many years. But anyways, he was taking a break from school. Someone that he knew called him and was like, hey, we need another guy up here. Are you available? He's like, yes. He got to go up there, kind of, be rejuvenated from being burnt out from school and make some money. So we were able to put all of that money towards our debt since we were used to living off my income. And then we also started renting a room in our house. We have a guest room that we were using like guest room / my office, but we weren't using it that much, and I had read a little bit about house hacking and talked to some friends, and we decided, why not? Hi, Serling, you're so cute. Come here. Come here. I mean, come on, look at this face. Look at this face. He's an old man. He's an old man. Like, we thought, why not? Why not rent out a room to traveling professionals? So we've been using Furnish Finder. I'll also put a link below in, kind of like our house hacking. I wrote a blog about house hacking and, kind of like the conversations we had, how we went about it, things we thought about, all that good stuff. So those things really helped. And then also we found a budgeting method that worked for us. So it's the digital envelope method. The regular envelope method is you kind of budget out your money and you have an actual envelope for like, this envelope is for food, this envelope is for bills, this envelope is for fun stuff, and like when the money from the envelope is gone, you can't spend any more on that item, on that kind of like budgeted line. So I don't really like having cash, so we kind of like moved that method to the digital sphere. So we have multiple checking accounts, which some people can find overwhelming. I really like it because I can look and see, okay, this is how much money I personally have in my own spending. This is how much money we have, left for groceries and miscellaneous stuff. So that's been amazing. And, has given Brett and I both the freedom of being able to have fun money. That's also really important in people's financial journey. So, we don't have to ask each other like, hey, can I buy this thing? Can I buy this thing? It's like we each get an amount of money every month and we can spend it on whatever we want. Brett tends to spend his on golf stuff. I buy plants or finance books, but to each their own. So anyways, that's kind of like the overview of our kind of debt payoff journey last year. Goals for this year. We are really wanting to save up an emergency fund. So for those of you who don't know what an emergency fund is, an emergency fund is a fund that you have set aside typically 3 to 6 months worth of expenses you have set aside in case of an emergency. I will admit, we're a little risky because some people would recommend, before you start aggressively paying off debt, to have 3 to 6 months worth of savings already set aside in case, during your aggressive debt payoff journey, you have an emergency and you need, money. You don't want to go further into debt. So we didn't do that. I felt like it was just really hard for me to just see money sitting in the account and knowing that like money is being, there's interest on this money on our debt just like being accrued. So we took a risk, used some of like the little bit of savings that we had to pay off the rest of our debt and just kept going, and we didn't have an emergency fund. So not something that I'm recommending to anyone. Obviously, doing what's best for you throughout your personal finance journey. That's why it's personal finance, right? So anyways, our goals. I totally got sidetracked. Oh, I got sidetracked kind of, but we want to build up an emergency fund, and for us, 3 to 6 months of expenses would be around $15,000 to like $25,000. So we're hoping to kind of start chipping away on that. We will continue to rent to people through Furnish Finder on a short-term basis. We like to do like 3 to 6 months. So that's kind of where we're at. I did get some money in terms of like student loan relief for being a social worker for the state that I'm in, which has been kind of like, it's life-changing. So that's going to really help me pay down a lot of my loans. And in terms of Brett's loans, they're on pause right now since he is in school. So we're actually not worrying about those until he starts working again, because we are only living off my income. So that's kind of where we're at, hoping for a good emergency fund by the end of this year. So what I also wanted to do was to kind of go over our budgeting sheets that we use. I made both of these, took some things from other places, getting ideas, but essentially this is our just kind of like basic budget sheet. It's super simple, and I'm showing this because I want people to know that like your budget sheet doesn't need to be like this huge, intense thing. I try to make it really simple. So like up at the top, I have like the source of where our income's coming from, how much, what's available, what's remaining, and then I have our bills, the dates that they're due, which accounts they're coming from, because as I described before, we do like the envelope method, but all of these are coming out of our bills account, but just a couple are actually being, pulled from like our bank account numbers versus just like our debit card. have our variable expenses, debt, and savings. Like, boom, that's it. I did make this little pie chart because it's cute and I like the colors. But overall, this is like my really, really simple budgeting template. Over the next couple of months, we're going to kind of have some variable income, and so I made a copy for February, and I try to be cute and like change the colors, and then I also have one ready for March. So I'm hoping in the next couple of months I can get this a little bit more streamlined so that I don't need a budget for every month, since my income is pretty consistent. Although the next couple months I'll have some variances, but anyways, wanted to just show that you don't got to do anything super intense. Like, it can be really just that simple. And then in terms of my banking flow, so I call this my banking flow because a lot of my money transactions are automatic, and so I think it's like a flow where, all the money is just flowing where it needs to go and I don't even have to worry about it. So in the expenses column, these are all the 4 different accounts, checking accounts that we have. So these are, quote, our envelopes. And then, we have our savings, investing account, and then some debt. But what I like about this is that I break up my checks. So I do get, I get paid every other week, and then we have a side hustle, and then we have a renter sometimes. And so for sure, I know that, I will be getting paycheck 1 and paycheck 2 every month. This amount is sometimes different, so I do have to change that. But essentially, I'm allotting, from this paycheck, $485 is going to go into Taylor's account, $425 to Brett, 0 to emergency fund and IRA this month, and then this much is going to go into bills. All of this money goes into bills, but I'm just allotting this for bills, so it's not going to go anywhere. And then $231.50 is going to go to food and other, and then remaining is, this is what we have remaining. So this month, this is actually accurate for this month. This all went into savings. But what I like about this is that I made it to where I put, how much here for bills, how much do I need? And I got this from our budgeting sheet. And then allocated, this number comes from what did I allocate on the left side. So it's green because I have enough that, I have what I need. But if over here for bills I didn't have enough, I put 0, that would turn red. So I have that for every single one. So if I needed, $2,000 for food and other, oh, that should have turned red. Let's see. Additional formatting. Oh yeah, that actually got messed up. So one moment, please. Just in the moment, making changes. So there we go. As you can see, if I needed $2,000 for food and other, it's like, oh, you don't have enough allocated. So anyways, I really like this because it helps me figure out, what transfers I need to make. And a couple of these transfers, like these 2 and then the food and other, these are automatic. Those never change for us. So I just kind of already set those up to transfer every 4 weeks, and that's good to go. The bills one is still kind of like I mess with a little bit, as do I do with the bills one here. So yeah, this is, I've never seen anyone make this, I've never seen anyone kind of like organize it in this way. This really works for my brain. I did make, you know, a banking flow for February and March because, you know, we will have some variable expenses, and yeah, so hopefully after this month, you know, it'll be, or after the couple months, we'll have a little bit more streamlined. But just wanted to hop on here and share like what I've been using, and it's been so amazing. It's been so amazing. I love it, love it, love it. Yeah, just wanted to share that win with y'all, kind of our goals and plans for the new year, and go over that budgeting stuff. So hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next time.